And Okta, oh my god, are you kidding me? What did I sell Okta? Was it like 212, 211? Like 30 minutes ago? This is just... Why can't I just obey my stops? Sometimes trading is really about fighting against yourself. There are no market makers out there to gun your stops. It's all, it's all you against yourself. It really is. Trading is just a big fight against yourself. You are the only factor that determines if you're gonna make it in trading or not. No one else. This LRN, it's a thin stock. It obviously failed to break out yesterday, but it's still the chart is still intact. The high tide flag is still intact. Like, it's building higher lows. Like, if it attempts to break out over that high 48, low 49 area, like next week, it's a high tide flag. This thing could go to 60 plus if it breaks out successfully. Gotta keep an eye on those types of setups. They're very profitable. Like, high tide flags is like one of the most profitable setups. It's a swing trading setup, but well, I guess you can day trade it too, but I don't see a point day trading something like that if you can swing trade it, right? Why? Because that's how stocks move. I found those are the ones that work the best. I mean, like, it doesn't really matter which ones you use that much, but just stick to something. Stick to something you have at least tested on, like the market leaders over the past, say, 100 years. Like, these moving averages, the 10 and 20, like, if you look at the biggest momentum stocks, like, no matter where you look at the market leaders, you can look at the market leaders in the 90s, 80s, 50s, 20s. Like, they move the same way. They obey the same moving averages, like the 10, 20, 50, 200. Like, they worked for 100 years, and they're probably gonna work for another 100 years. What do I know? They just work. And the 60-minute chart, I just found the EMAs work better. I don't know. You can use the simple moving average too, maybe a little bit shorter. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Just consolidation scanner. I don't have a consolidation scanner. Target range for SPAC. Well, it's probably gonna stop me out. But look, if this thing gets momentum, obviously right now the market is a bit shaky. Things are not really following through, but this thing could go back to high teens eventually. What do I know? That's why I bought it, but sometimes they just don't work. Look, I can take these small losses, like these small cuts, like all day long, all week long. When they finally break down, they're gonna make huge moves on the downside if they break down. Sorry. That's gonna make it all back and more. But that's my trading. Like, I had a 25% win rate last year, and yet I made like over 100%, if I remember correctly. It's all about small losses, big wins. Small losses, big wins. Don't get into the cult. You have to be profitable every day. No, you don't have to. What you need to do is have some really big home run trades and keep the losses small in the meanwhile. That's my philosophy. Yeah, Zillow is now starting to break out of this mini flag. I got in a starter again. I'm not gonna do any big size. This thing's probably gonna stop me out again. I just can't do big, full size in a shopping market. I just can't do it. I'm an addict. Like, I have to trade. That's one of my biggest weaknesses in trading. But at least I know when a market is choppy. Like, most of the time I'm able to like recognize it and not do like crazy size. What percent of my account am I risking per trade? Around 0.3 to 0.5% or so. So I'm taking smaller risks than I used to. But I'm going for like big multiples of risk. Like every trade I take, like if I can't like realistically think I can make say 10 times my initial risk, I'm probably not gonna take the trade. And many of my like swing longs, I can make 20, 30, 50 times my initial risk. So like a home run trade, let's just say something like NVAX down here where I bought it, and then I sold it like what, 60% higher, like a couple of weeks later. Like I made easily 10 times my initial risk on this thing. There are better ones. D-Dog may be a bet. No, not D-Dog. Which is the one? D-Dog. Which one is it? Not D-Dog. What's the one? What's the name of the one? No, not PDD. Well, PDD is also a good example where I bought it here and then I sold it like here. Or at least my last shares. That was also 65% move. This one I easily got like 15 times, 20 times my initial risk on my last shares. So, but that's the thing, if you're swing trading, your win rate is probably gonna be lower than when you're day trading. So like, again, like my win rate last year was like 25%. QCOM, well the problem with QCOM is it's a very slow stock. Like average daily range is 2.5%. Like it's just not a great trading stock. I'm sorry, you know, gotta be in the momentum leaders. It's just not a momentum leader. And you know, look at the numbers. Like it's not a growth stock. Etsy, yeah, well it broke out yesterday. That's all I have to say about that. There is nothing here today. If you missed it, you missed it. Yeah, I hold stocks into earnings all the time. If I have a big profit cushion, I'm a swing position trader. I need to be holding stocks into earnings. I can hold stocks for 3-5 months if they work out really well, that is. Lake is kind of weak. Didn't really, it failed the breakout, but it's building higher lows. It's building higher lows. You can clearly see it's building higher lows. So as long as those higher lows hold intact, it's fine. BA looks like it's bouncing. I should probably cover some shares. Yeah, I'm gonna cover some shares. I'm not gonna get greedy. Covered 1,000 shares out of 15,000 from yesterday. If I would start over again, I would definitely not day trade. I think day trading is a huge waste of time. Because it's not scalable. I mean, like for a new trader, maybe yeah, day trading could make sense, but I think it's just easier to make money if you're swing trading. I really do think so. Well, all of successful traders are good at taking losses. That's the only thing that saves you from disaster. No, I really didn't have, you know, like I know some people still have like issues taking losses after several years of trading. I never really had that. I just didn't, I wasn't really, completely aware of the concept of a stop loss when I started trading. I guess that was the issue. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing, but once I learned the concept of stop loss, generally no, it wasn't really a problem for me. Exactly. Big money is made in the sitting. I absolutely agree. All my biggest winners this year, SC, I was in this thing for what? 4 months? 3 months? Went up 160%. It didn't go up 160% in a day. No, it took 3 months. Fastly, another one. When we bought it on earnings here in the 30s. This thing went up 250%. It didn't go up 250% in a day. It took a couple of months. Now, obviously, I didn't trade these perfectly, but you know, it's all about catching big moves and catching the big, juicy part in the middle. And you're gonna be financially independent in no time. On the big winners, I use the 10 and 20-day moving averages as trailing stops. Because some, you know, these things can really, you know, that's the mistake I made on NVAX. I really didn't wait for it to close below the 10-day. Like I just randomly sold it because I thought it was extended. Like, it's not gonna go up much more. I sold it like on this day here, right? It never even touched the 10-day. And then it went sideways for like a week, and then it like went up another 70%. If I had just had to use the simple close below the 10-day, which is what I usually use, like the 10 and 20-day moving averages, my trailing stops, I would have made another, I don't know, a lot of money on it. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, you know, sometimes it's hard to stick to rules. It's hard. One thing I don't have a hard time with is stop losses, but sometimes, like I said before, holding a big winner is a really, really hard thing to do sometimes. It really is. It's just unbelievably hard. What inspired me to get into trading? Tim Sykes. No joke, Tim Sykes. I found him and I got sold into trading. I'm like, wow, I want to do that. Like, I was like, well, he doesn't seem like a very smart guy and he's making a lot of money. Like, why can't I make a lot of money? Like, I was like, what, 22 years old? I was like, hey, this trading thing seems really cool. Like a really cool thing to do. He's a degenerate. Yeah, he's like the sleaziest salesman guy. He's like a very sleazy salesman. I don't think he has a lot of ethics, but you know, look, I'm trading thanks to him. That's why I'm trading, right? Credit where credit is due. Well, there's still time to get in on. There's still several really good looking ones that haven't broken out, like PDD, Zoom, Roku, TTD. TTD is not a favorite, but PDD is really good looking. Zoom and Roku. What's SC doing? SC not good setup. And Square too. Like if it's yeah. Now I hope it can go sideways for a while here, for a couple of days. This thing has a look. It's a high tide flag. Nvidia short. Yeah, Nvidia looks decent. It's a slow mover, but yeah, it looks decent. This thing could go to 500. Yeah. No, I don't do. I really think I keep repeating in chat. I think options is a sucker's game. Unless you made at least a few million just trading stocks, you have no place trading options. And once you made a few million trading stocks, you won't need options. Like the fail rate, there's just so many things that can go wrong in options. Like, look at what went wrong with my just, you know, like regular stock trading yesterday. I lost like 7-8% of my account. Just on a fat finger trade. Like imagine you do like a highly leveraged options trade. Fat finger it, right? I mean, things can go south so fast. Like assuming you really understand options, like 99% of options traders, they don't really understand options. Like there's just so many things that go wrong. It's a sucker's game. I'm sorry, guys. It's always gonna be the same answer. Like all the successful options traders I know, or like people that trade options, they first made their money on trading stocks and now they are like diversifying a little bit with options, but they're still only doing like a minority of their trades with options. But I know a lot of people just trade only options because the leverage and stuff like that, and I just don't, it just doesn't end well for most people. It's not like it's hard to control risk. Like if you just buy calls and buy puts and don't do any fancy stuff like condors and butterflies and this and that and put spreads, and like you can very easily control your risk. Like you know that okay, I can only lose 100%, but there's just so many things that can go wrong. That's my point. I just not really a believer in options trading, especially when you have like small accounts. Like I get like why people want to do it, especially with people that have small accounts. Like it's like a lottery ticket effect. You put out down a little bit of money and you can make 10, 20 times in like a few days. Like I get it, but it's just, it's more gambling than trading.